caches. The purpose is very much like the local caches, but the way it works is somewhat different, but not much different though. Okay. The main difference is this. In local caching, we keep a copy of the object here. Okay. But now we keep a copy of the object here in the web cache, or also known as the proxy server. Web cache or proxy server. Okay. And in conditional GET, we still need to send HTTP requests to the original server. It's just that the original server decides whether to send the object with it or not in the response. Okay, sometimes yes, sometimes no. So we save a little bit delay and bandwidth this way. But in web caches, the goal is actually trying to satisfy some client request such that there's no involvement of the original server required. Okay, so some of the clients doesn't need to reach the original server to get the object. And this is done by keeping a copy of the object somewhere in the middle at the proxy server. Okay, so the way it works is this. Users will set the browser such that for all web access, let's go through the web cache. So subsequently, the browsers will send all HTTP requests to the web cache. So send it to the web cache. If the object, the page we're looking for, is already in the cache, proxy server sends the object back. So you see, it works somewhat like a server, but it's not the original server. It's somewhat a delegate of the original server having a copy here. Okay, so object in the cache, cache return objects. Otherwise, the cache here, the web cache here, would request from the server a copy of the object. So this request will be like, the proxy server here behaving like a client, of the original server. Web cache there, request object from the original server like a client. Okay. And after the object is downloaded here, the proxy server then sends the object back to the requester. So let me illustrate. If the object is not here, request go to the original server, response comes back, store a copy, and then forward it back to the client. And what's nice about this is, look at this client down below. If the client is requesting the same object, it's a hit here at the cache. Server here sends back the object directly without going through this segment of the internet. So, cache there acts both like a client and a server. As a server, so that it serves the original client, the objects. As a server, because if there's a miss, it will be requesting the original server for a copy of the object. Right? So, some of you might see already, right? A web cache like that is actually preferred by the ISPs, which serves a whole bunch of customers locally. Usually people sitting close to each other tend to prefer fetching or tend to fetch similar content. Okay? So a lot of times ISPs might encourage you to set a web cache on your browser. Now, let's go through a few examples to detail why using web caching. Local cache, nice, reduce delay, reduce bandwidth. Through this set of example, let me take you through what is the benefit of doing web caching. In a nutshell, a lot more delay and a lot more bandwidth saving.